I admit I might have gotten too excited for the Wemby train considering the stats for his last 4 games combined. Yikes. So what have teams done to throw him off the rails? Let's dive right into the footage. Phoenix got out of the box by guarding the NBA's tallest player with a 6'4" forward, and it didn't seem like it would work that well as the Spurs went right to their get action at Wemby's preferred right elbow. But instead of a simple bounce pass to the roller, Stephon Castle gets his pass deflected and they miss an easy opportunity for a dunk. This might have been the best post-up they got for Wemby on the mismatch. Great spacing and one-on-one down low. O'Neal's armbar is able to keep him lateral across the lane, and I think he's got to shoot this over his right shoulder. I know he drew the help and generated an open corner 3, but he should be more aggressive in punishing this mismatch early. This was great by the Spurs off the Wemby contest at the 3. He can leak out and pin O'Neal on the block early. But why does Wemby just give the ball up with the slightest forearm push by the defender? It didn't hurt them from a result standpoint, but I'm sure the Suns were happy to give up a multi-dribble contested 16-footer if it means Wemby isn't getting warmed up. The idea behind Coach Jordan Ott's decision to guard Wemby in a mismatch is that he can have his shot-blocking big man roam in the background to help, like he does here on this roll after the slipped ball screen. This was a good play by Barnes to drive and dish, but Wemby too often tries to rush his shots before getting his feet in good position to power up into a shot, so Mark Williams returns this one to sender. It's still early in the season, so the Spurs are ironing out their offense. The initial progression was great. Dylan Harper is denied the reversal pass, so Wemby flashes underneath for blind pig action out of the triangle offense. He needs to give Harper the ball here with this type of advantage. And then Harper needs to find Wemby rolling after the inside ball screen gets him wide open in the paint for what would have been an easy cram shot. Again, it's all rendered moot when Harper does a Pinoy step into the lane, absorbs the contact, and still finishes off the glass. Notice what happens when he's able to get the opponent's big man guarding him. He attacks off the catch like a forward and uses his quickness to gain a severe advantage. This directly creates a wide open corner 3, but McLaughlin can't hit it, and Wemby doesn't go for the offensive rebound, something that happens far too often for a guy that tall and mobile. Speaking of offensive rebounds, they leave him in a dunker spot as Harper explores the paint for good reason. Wemby should be able to hoover up tons of offensive boards. But like we saw earlier, he rushes this putback and has to twist in the air through contact to make it. He should have simply lifted his right foot and planted it here so he could point the left shoulder into the defender and had better alignment to get this jump hook in the basket. It's not the worst idea to shift Wemby around in different starting spots, like the corner and this horn set. But because a really quick smaller guy is guarding him, a simple pass to the corner isn't really that simple as O'Neal just takes it out of the air. They rely on horns a lot, but couldn't seem to get on the same page in this game. Setting weak side pin downs for him does almost nothing since they'll just switch it. Worse, if Champagnie lifts to the wing, then his man can thwart any pass to Wemby in the high post. Now you've got Harrison Barnes trying to be a dribble drive artist to suboptimal results. You'd think the Spurs would just say, get your butt down on that low block and do some damage. The problem is Wemby is so long that these shorter defenders can get underneath him and force him to catch it farther than he wants. Plus, his limbs are so long, he's got a penchant for offensive fouls down there when they swing too far out. Marcus Smart also got him on something similar when he tried to battle the smaller player's physicality before Smart takes a dive and forces a turnover. Here's another example in the second half of wasted action to cross screen for a post-up since teams will just switch this, and now Wemby struggles mightily to get position anywhere close to the rim as the defender beats him to the spot. Now the big man can roam over to help while the primary defender steals the lob pass. One of the best ways to get him good post position is when he sets a ball screen then rolls to the hoop. Because the defender has to get between Wemby and the basket initially, Wemby can now pin him down on the actual low block. All 5 defenders are essentially in the paint as he steps through, and he utilizes the gather step to simulate a fadeaway 14-footer before getting the hockey assist as the ball hums around the perimeter. While the gather step worked for him on the previous move, the refs miss a travel on this post-up into the middle as he ends the dribble by putting both hands on the ball and the left foot on the floor. He only has 2 steps at this point. Instead, he goes right, left, right before jumping. Devin Booker is absolutely right here, but Wemby goes to the Harrison Barnes well again in the right corner, and it yields another 3. To combat the switch and make it a fair fight, the Spurs try to cross screen with a big man to get that switch. But the Suns refuse to switch this, leading to a big advantage in the post. Now the Suns send the double team with a bigger defender, great rotation by the weak side defenders, and now O'Neal scrams out of there. Another double team comes, and perfect rotation by Iguodala and Gillespie prevents an open three and an open cut for a dunk. This leaves an impossible pass that somehow gets the Spurs a corner three. Now watch how easy it is to shield Wemby from another potential offensive rebound. This will change if he can get stronger. A quick drag screen forces Booker onto him down low, so O'Neal immediately doubles on the spin move, leading to a mishandled dribble. While the defense was on point in their early rotation, the great ball movement catches Williams a step slow, contesting the open corner three. What the Spurs did on offense in that game was almost moot, since they gave up 94 points in 33 minutes of action, emboldening the Suns to send 3 defenders to him in the mid-post, and Wemby cannot deliver the pass on time or on target, something he'll need to improve upon. And if you want to improve upon your opportunities to win money, then you've got to play Prize Picks, where all you have to do is pick more or less in a variety of categories for a ton of different sports. It's the only app that offers stacks, where you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Here are my picks for today, as I'm convinced the Seahawks are going to rack up some yards, and so will the Niners and Lions. Follow me on the app so you can just copy my lineups, something you'll benefit from during basketball season. Best of all, download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. The Lakers were next, and I was at this game, and let me tell you, it was the worst game I'd ever been to, with 66 fouls called and 84 combined free throws. Despite that, and Wemby being relatively ineffective, the Spurs had this game until the very end. And even then, Marcus Smart did all he could to throw the game away with this hilariously awful play to throw a pass down court when they had a 2-point lead and committed a throw-in violation that gave the Spurs a chance to actually win the game. And JJ Redick copied the Suns by having his big man Rome and Rui guarding Wemby, and it looked like the Spurs were ready for this with a UCLA cut that forces Smart to switch and yield a huge mismatch. The problem is, if they wanted to help Wemby find an opening, they can't be this stagnant. Look at the 5 defenders surrounding the paint to prevent him from going anywhere. I'm sure this play looks familiar, a great shot, but they can't hit it. The Spurs clearly felt that elbow touches were the solution to the intentional mismatch, but watch how Vanderbilt can lean on Wemby, the guard won't throw it to him, and he ends up beyond the 3-point line. They try it again, but now the shot clock is winding down under 10 seconds. Despite being so far from the hoop, he spies Kelton Johnson taking advantage of his sleeping Luka by cutting right in front of him for an easy layup and a Wemby assist. One of Wemby's best hopes at owning deep post position is to sprint down there early before the defense can get set. Rui is able to hold his own and keep it from getting closer, and Wemby needs to stop bringing the ball down so low where guards can swipe at it. But the loose ball confused the defense, and the second Rui lifted his left arm to contest, it was over. No one is stopping this. They started guarding the poor shooting Castle with their center DeAndre Ayton, but I think they should have ignored him even further than this. As a result, Ayton isn't able to protect the rim on this drive, which ultimately turned into a stop when the foul was overturned. The stagnant elbow touch continued to yield poor results from the Spurs as Dalton Connect too easily knocks the ball out of his hands, and when Harrison Barnes cuts through, the spacing is terrible, allowing the Lakers to shadow Wemby with the second defender on the block. But Ayton continued to fall asleep while guarding Castle. He should have been the one coming over to double. Instead, they end up fouling Wemby on the shot. More spacing issues when the Spurs thought they were doing a good thing by clearing the side for a Wemby elbow attack. It just lets Rui hang around and then quickly double, while the other 3 Lakers form an L to zone up the weak side and take away everything. Smaller defenders can really bother Wemby's dribble since they're closer to the ground, and after the ball is recovered, the shot clock is expiring and the Lakers give up the shot they most want. Another cross screen is ineffective, even though the Lakers don't switch this to avoid Luka having to guard him. But now it's Ayton doubling him from the baseline, and I suppose Wemby wanted to find Barnes in the corner, but he's got to come up with better passing solutions when he's doubled. Down the stretch, the Spurs started spamming the elbow touches, and this is the superstar shot, one reserved for the Durants and the Lukas of the game, and it was good to see Wemby hit the only option available due to the spacing and lack of movement. This time, the Spurs adjusted and put Barnes on the strong side to force Ayton out of a help situation. This enables Wemby to rip through and draw the foul from a charge-baiting Marcus Smart. Same alignment, and I like to see Wemby explore something to the rim since they were down by 1. While he does catch LaRavia in poor position 1 pass away, and this does yield a relatively open shot, they come away empty. And the beginning of the end started out promising. In the scramble after the drive and kick, Wemby properly spaces to the wing where he'll always be able to blow by traditional centers. The problem is, he's off balance, a little out of control, didn't read the floor ahead of him, and crashes right into Rui for his 6th foul. So watch for more teams to play Wemby with their non-centers and let them roam in the background and hope those smaller players can continue to leverage their lower center of gravity to keep him farther from the basket. But also, watch for the Spurs to roll into the basket out of ball screens more and avoid the static elbow touches that yield no space for Wemby to attack. This tug of war should be interesting, and whoever solves it will have major implications on the MVP race for this season and beyond.